Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhav Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Subhadra Mai Jaya Sudarshana. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parijakacharya Stotra This Divine Grace of Vaishnava Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parijakacharya Stotra This Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Granthraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from 3rd Canto, Chapter 3, text number 9 and then 10. So 9 I'll read and then 10 we will chant together. Tasva apatyani ajanayad atmatulyani sarvatah ekaikasyam dasha dasha prakritir vibhubhushaya. Tasu unto them, apatyani offspring, ajanayat begot, atmatulyani all like himself, sarvatah in all respects, ekaikasyam in each and every one of them, dasha 10, Prakrite for expanding himself, Vibhushaya, so desiring. Translation: just to expand himself according to his transcendental features. The Lord begot in each and every one of them 10 offspring with exactly his own qualities. Text number 10. Kala Magada Shalvadin Anikaye Arundataha Puram Ajighanat Swayam Divyam Swapumsam Teja Adishat Kalamagada Shalvadi Kalamagada Shalvadi Anikairundhata Puram Anikairundhata Puram Ajighanat swayam divyam. Ajighanat swayam divyam. Swapumsam teja adishat. Swapumsam teja adishat. Kalamagada shalvadi. Anikairundatah puram. Ajighanat swayam divyam. Swapumsam teja adishat. Kalamagada shalvadi. Anikairundatah puram. Ajighanat swayam divyam. Swapumsam teja adishat. Please chant. Anikairundata puram. Swayam divyam. Swapumsam teja adishat. Matajis. Kalamagada shalvadin. Anikairundata puram. Ajighanat swayam divyam. Swapumsam teja adishat. Okay, please repeat after me. Kala, Kalyavana, Magada, the king of Magada, Jarasandha, Shalva, King Shalva, Adin, and others, Anikai, by the soldiers, Arundataha, being encircled, Puram, the city of Mathura, Ajighanat, killed, Swayam, personally, Divyam, transcendental, Swapumsam, of his own men, Tejaha, prowess, Adishat, exhibited. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Kalyavan, the king of Magadha and Shalva, attacked the city of Mathura, but when the city was encircled by their soldiers, the Lord refrained from killing them personally, just to show the power of his own men. Purport. After the death of Kamsa, when Mathura was encircled by the soldiers of Kalyavan, Jarasandha and Shalva, the Lord seemingly fled from the city, and thus he is known as Ranchod, or one who fled from fighting. Actually, the fact was that the Lord wanted to kill them through the agency of his own men, devotees like Muchkunda and Bhima. Kalyavan and the king of Magadha were killed by Muchkunda and Bhima respectively, who acted as agents of the Lord. By such acts, the Lord wanted to exhibit the prowess of his devotees, as if he were personally unable to fight, but his devotees could kill them. The relationship of the Lord with his devotees is a very happy one. Actually, the Lord descended at the request of Brahma in order to kill all the undesirables of the world. But to divide the share of glory, he sometimes engaged his devotees to take the credit. The battle of Kurukshetra was designed by the Lord himself, but just to give credit to his devotee Arjuna, Nimitta Matram Bhava Savya Sachin, he played the part of the charioteer, while Arjuna was given the chance to play the fighter and thus become the hero of the battle of Kurukshetra. What he wants to do himself by his transcendental plans, he executes through his confidential devotees. That is the way of Lord's mercy towards his pure, unalloyed devotees. Please repeat the translation after me. Kal Yavan, the king of Magad and Shalva, attacked the city of Mathura. But when the city was encircled by their soldiers, the Lord refrained from killing them personally, just to show the power of his own men. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are discussing conversation. So Uddhava and Maitreya. And here we are seeing that a kind of a glimpse on the 10th canto. A glimpse of the 10th canto of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is Krishna Lila, is being given by Uddhava, who is describing very nicely about Lord's pastimes in a very succinct summary. We'll find, and also he is giving the essence. One is facts that happened, and then the second part which Uddhava gives is also there is a purport to it. Like in this verse, he is saying just to show the power of his prowess of his own men. And then on that purport, Srila Prabhupada is giving his own purport also. So you will find that there is a lot of deep meaning and lot of special jewels or snippets you will find in Bhaktivedanta purports that Srila Prabhupada he gives, which reveal the mind of Krishna. When we want to establish a relationship with someone, if we don't know how the person thinks, how can we establish a relationship? We don't know what will please him, what will displease him, then how do we establish a relationship? So you will find that Srila Prabhupada in his Bhaktivedanta purport systematically in different places he has given snippets into the personality and character of Krishna. One aspect is how Srila Sukadeva Goswami he describes the personality and character of Krishna, which happened to be one of the main themes of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And then on top of it, Srila Prabhupada, the way he describes is it gives such a depth of what the Lord thinks and how he functions that actually relationship with Krishna doesn't seem to be something impossible. This is why those who are followers in ISKCON, basically the followers of Srila Prabhupada, are very fortunate. Because unlike other sampradayas or even unlike other sects of spirituality where God is an impersonal abstract concept, which is very difficult for us to ascertain what I am doing is going to please or displease. But here we find that it is very clear. And the more we read this, then the more we understand. And that we will see in today's verse. So here the verse is how Kal Yavan attacks Mathura. So what happens? Jarasandha relentlessly attacks Mathura 17 times. Every time he is defeated. Imagine the scene. Jarasandha is coming every time with armies. Krishna kills everyone else except him. Just so that he gets more army men. Again to be killed by Krishna. And this goes on 17 times. For a Kshatriya, this is a big dishonor. But you can see how relentless Jarasandha is in his envy towards the Lord. So this 18th time he attacks. Jarasandha attacks 18. Kal Yavan, this Kal Yavan is, he was searching for a worthy opponent to fight. So Narad Muni, he sends him to fight with the Yadavas. Narad Muni is also waiting. How am I going to help the Lord? One of the purposes of the Lord is to remove all the miscreants. So he sees that this Kal Yavan is a miscreant. So then he says, go to Yadavas, go and fight there. So massacre, in this way, there is a mass killing. Just like in Kurukshetra war, mass killing happened. So Kal Yavan, at the same time, he is also attacking with 30 million soldiers. He also attacked Mathura. So now what happens? Lord Krishna, he looks upon these attacks with concern. For he knew that Jarasandha's arrival was imminent. So Kal Yavan attacks with 30 million soldiers, and Jarasandha is also going to attack, he knows. Relentless, the way Jarasandha is. So then what Krishna does, he feels that this simultaneous attack will endanger Dwarka, will endanger Mathura, will endanger Yadavas. So what he does, that is the time when he creates Dwarka Nagari. So using his mystic potency, the Lord transports everyone to Dwarka. Then, we know, Dwarka was fully, it was protected by the sea. Nobody could enter there. So that way, for the protection of his devotees, he creates a city. And then, when the city was fully populated and they were all settled, even the demigods come. Even Indra, who is heading the demigods, they all come and offer their services. The same opulence that they have received from Krishna, they are all offering back to him. So once Krishna sees his subjects are safely settled, Krishna takes permission from Baladev and he goes out of Mathura city unarmed, no weapons. So Krishna comes out and Kal Yavan, he sees Krishna. He sees this beautiful effulgent body of Krishna which is matching exactly with Narad Muni's description. So seeing that Lord is not carrying any weapons, Kal Yavan, he put down his own weapons, wanting to go and fight with Krishna. Kshatriya code of conduct. Krishna, he runs away from Kal Yavan. He runs away. This is not very non-Kshatriya-like, running away. But you can always expect the unexpected in Krishna's pastime. He always is full of surprises. And it's very difficult to understand. They say, Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigne na Bhujaya. You cannot understand a devotee. Why one cannot understand what a devotee does? Because the Lord is also like that. The devotees are divinely inspired by the Lord, and you see that how the Lord acts. He will break his own rules, break the codes of conduct. He starts running. Kal Yavan is running behind him. But Krishna runs only that fast so as to just miss the grasp of Kal Yavan. Kal Yavan is running behind him, and when he puts out his arm to catch Krishna, he's not able to do. So he's only that much far. So he doesn't escape. He's still there. He's engaging Kal Yavan. Kal Yavan is hurling insults at the Lord. For a long distance, it's going on because Krishna goes towards the mountain cave. And then it is mentioned that the reason why Kal Yavan could not catch Krishna was that his impious stock, that means the karma, bad karma, was not depleted yet. He was not able to capture Krishna. So Krishna enters the cave, mountain cave, whereupon Kal Yavan follows him, seeing a man on the ground. And then taking him for Krishna, Kal Yavan kicks him. The man who has been asleep for a long time, now he has been violently awakened. And he looks around in all directions and sees Kal Yavan. And this man who wakes up, who has been woken up like this, he stares harshly at Kal Yavan, igniting a fire in Kal Yavan's body, and in a moment burning him to ashes. So this extraordinary person was a son of Mandhata named Muchkunda, Muchkunda was devoted to Brahminical culture and he was always true to his vow. Previously, he had spent many years protecting the demigods from the demons. And when the demigods they obtain Kartikeya as their protector, they allow Muchkunda to retire, allowing him any boon other than liberation, because that only Lord Vishnu can bestow. So Muchkunda had chosen from the demigods the benediction of being covered by sleep. Because he was awake, the demigod saw that Muchkunda has done so much of service. And while he was performing this service for the demigods, he actually neglected his family and neglected his kingdom, neglected all the people, to the point that while in Swarga, while he was fighting, many years passed by, everybody was dead. Everybody had passed away. So then the demigods, they tell him, now what do you want? Because he was awake for such a long time fighting, he said, now let me sleep. And then he asks for this benediction that anybody who wakes me up will be burnt into ashes. Now this he did specifically to dissuade Indra, discourage Indra from calling him again. Because Muchkunda thought that another time Indra feels slighted, Indra feels afraid, insecure, he will call me. Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maya ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Radha Madhav Bhagwan ki. So Muchkunda felt Indra should not call me again. So what does he do? He asks for such a benediction. So now obviously nobody is going to disturb him. So he is fast asleep. But Krishna in this way, Krishna wanted to, he knew Muchkunda is a devotee. So he wanted to give his mercy to Muchkunda. So how is he going to do that? So this is Krishna. He hits two birds with one stone. One pastime, Kal Yavan is delivered, Muchkunda also. So what does he do? When Kal Yavan is immolated, Krishna shows himself to Muchkunda after that, who was struck with wonder at seeing Krishna's beauty. Muchkunda asks Krishna who he was. And he first explained his own identity. And he says that I was extremely tired from remaining awake for a very long time. So I was enjoying my sleep here. And a stranger came to disturb me. Suffering the reaction of his own sins, he was burnt to ashes. Then he says that, oh Lord, I am very fortunate that I have seen the darshan of your beautiful form. Lord Krishna, he tells Muchkunda who he was. And he offers him a boon. Muchkunda, he understands the futility of life and he asks that he should be allowed to take shelter of Krishna's feet. Muchkunda offers some very beautiful prayers. Can you open 10.51.55? 10.51.55. Are we there? Okay, please chant this after me. Na kamayenyam tava pada sevanat akinchana prart yatamadvaram vibho aradhya kastvam hyapavargadam hare Vrinita aryo varamatma bandhanam. Oh, all-powerful one, I desire no boon other than service to your lotus feet, the boon most eagerly sought by those free of material desire. Oh Hari, what enlightened person who worships you, the giver of liberation, would choose a boon that causes his own bondage. Because he says, after this he says that I have been pained by the troubles of this world, I have been burning with lamentation. The 6 enemies are never satiated. So I find no peace. You give me shelter at your lotus feet. So in this way, Muchkunda prays. And then the Lord, he tells Muchkunda, I am very happy with you because you have not asked for any material benediction. Yeah, he tells you, I tested you. This is a lesson. See, Krishna tests like this. First he asks, what do you want? I can give you what you can even imagine. What you cannot even imagine, all that I can give you. And then if you ask, because we are all going to face this situation at some or the other time in our spiritual journey, wherein material desires will come, or even the opportunity to satisfy the material desires will be there. And then what do we do? Because it's Krishna's test. He reveals it. He says, he tells Muchkunda that I tested you and you passed the test. You didn't give in. You are pure. Your intent is pure, Muchkunda. Krishna tells him. And then he says that in your next life you will become a first-class Brahmana and you will attain me. You will have perpetual devotion for me. Now you remain surrendered to me and go perform your penances to eradicate the sinful reactions incurred from killing the killing that you had to do in your role as the Kshatriya. So in this way, Krishna offers Muchkunda blessings. The same thing with Jarasandha. There was no need for Krishna to defeat 17 times Jarasandha. The reason why he does it is because he wants Bhima to take the credit. This is one important thing that Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport. There is a principle that comes out in this particular purport, which is that how Krishna empowers his own devotees as instruments. He gives the credit to them while he himself remains the controller. So this is how the Lord is Bhakta Vatsal. It shows how he is affectionate towards his devotees. And the example that Srila Prabhupada gives in the purport is in the Kurukshetra war. What does Krishna do? He is the doer of everything. But he did not kill a single warrior in the battlefield. All the fighting was executed through his devotees, especially Arjuna. In the Bhagavad Gita, he tells Arjuna, Nimitta matrena bhava savya sachin. Become an instrument in the fight. So what does Krishna do? He deliberately refrains from direct action, even though the entire victory depends upon him. But he chooses to act through his devotee, allowing Arjuna to be the standalone hero. Arjuna is the visible hero. So credit goes to devotee. So why he does this? Krishna does this because he wants to establish the fame of his devotees. His own glory is already unlimited. Now he wants his devotees to get credit. He wants their fame. Because at the end of the Kurukshetra war, who is the hero? Arjuna is the hero. But actually, when Barbarik saw the Kurukshetra war and he was asked at the end, the Pandavas go to Barbarik at the end of the war and ask him, what did you see? What did you see in the war of Barbarik? Barbarik says, Vasudev, 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 Vasudev. I only saw Vasudev. He says, before Arjuna's arrows, Krishna Sudarshan was going and killing all the warriors. So who was the doer? It was Krishna. Krishna protected Arjuna and the Pandavas in unlimited ways. But he gave all the credit to his devotees. He wants the Pandavas should become, they should be reigning. He wants Yudhishthir Maharaj to become the king. He wants Arjuna to get the credit for becoming the most powerful warrior. So Krishna doesn't mind appearing secondary. This is actually a very deep leadership principle also. As in leadership, then one, instead of taking the lead, allows the subordinates to take credit. This is what Krishna does. Krishna performs his pastimes to glorify his devotees. In the 10th canto, the Brahmana mentions that, my dear Lord, you perform your pastime to glorify the devotees. So this sets the lens. Krishna arranges that the devotees appear as heroes, and what does he do? He is relishing their devotion. So this is the mind of Krishna. As we were mentioning, Srila Prabhupada gives an insight as to how the Lord functions, how the Lord thinks, and how important devotees are for him. Here we see. Bhishma Dev mentions in first canto, he mentions that the whole purpose that the Lord accepted the position of Arjuna's chariot driver was to establish the glory of Arjuna. Then we see how this is how Krishna is functioning. So Bhishma had taken a vow that because when Duryodhana approaches him in one evening, Duryodhana approaches Bhishma saying that you are very much restrained in the fight. So what does Bhishma say? I will fight so vigorously that one of the Pandavas will be killed, or Arjuna will have to lift, or Krishna will have to lift a weapon. Because Krishna had made that declaration, had vow. He had made the vow, I will not lift a weapon in the Kurukshetra fight. So what does Bhishma say? Bhishma is praying that the Supreme Lord, he has broken his vow just to protect the vow of his devotee. Because Bhishma took that vow, so Krishna, for him, his own image is secondary. For him, it is more important that the devotee, he is glorified. So what happens in the end of that? Bhishma is glorified as invincible, Arjuna is protected as the hero, and Krishna accepts devotee. He accepts defeat. He had to break his vow. So thus, to enhance devotee's glory, Krishna does this. Again in the Bhagavatam, in the first canto, 15th chapter, the verse says that everything was done by Krishna in the Kurukshetra battlefield, yet the people glorified the Pandavas. So what happens? Krishna is the real doer, but devotees receive public recognition. Likewise, there is another example of Prahlad Maharaj. Nrsimhadev appears because of Prahlad Maharaj. And then Nrsimhadev declares, neither Brahma nor Shiva nor Lakshmi can please me as much you have done, Prahlad. Nrsimhadev says this. So Prahlad becomes the instrument. So the whole pastime of Lord Nrsimhadev appearance is actually to glorify Prahlad Maharaj. That is, even we saw that film Mahavatar Narsimha, which is based on the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. That entire section of the Bhagavatam is nothing but Prahlad Charitra. So the Lord comes for what? He comes to glorify Prahlad. That's why Nrsimhadev appears. Because Prahlad Maharaj said, yes, he is in the pillar. So the Lord has to do this. Imagine what kind of position is that of a pure devotee, that the Lord just becomes so subordinate. Thus, it is also proven that the Lord is also not independent. He is also fully under control of his loving devotees. Krishna thus empowers his devotees also to establish truths, to do a lot of amazing services. For example, Uddhava. 11th canto, Krishna tells Uddhava, he empowers Uddhava. He says, you will deliver my message to my devotees and thus you will act as my representative. Intentionally he transfers authority and recognition to Uddhava. So although this Lord is Sarva Karana Karanam, he delights in becoming secondary. He likes it. It is very interesting because this is very contrary to human nature. People, what they don't do for credit, they fight like anything. If they don't receive the credit for what they feel they should receive, then there are so many court cases also for that. People fight. Why I didn't receive? Why I am denied? And just see the Lord, that he willingly gives. He works in such a way that he gives the credit to the devotees. Now, not only Krishna, but even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, in many places in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see he also deals in this way. For example, Haridas Thakur. The Lord declares Haridas Thakur to be Namacharya. The purpose of Mahaprabhu's advent is to spread the holy name. He is the one who has popularized the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. But who has he said is Namacharya? Haridas Thakur. The verse is there. Namacharya Haridasa e mora mata iha nahi anya kona vichara. Haridas Thakur is the Acharya of the holy name. This is my conclusion, there is no other consideration. Mahaprabhu declares. Real Namacharya is Mahaprabhu. But he wants Haridas to take credit, so he tells him he is Namacharya. One more place where the Lord gives authority to the devotee, he accepts the role of a disciple. So Mahaprabhu, this is in conversation with Ramanand Rai. Tumi ye kahile shehaya shastra sara, ami shuni mani e satya vichara. Whatever you have spoken is the essence of Shastra. I hear it, I accept it, and I acknowledge it as the truth. Who's saying this? Mahaprabhu says to Ramanand Rai. Krishna is Satyam Param Dhimahi. He is the absolute truth. He comes to, he takes incarnation to establish truth. And he is telling Ramanand Rai, what you're saying is true. I accept it. So he has given, He has given Ramanand Rai the total credit for establishing a higher tattva. In fact, Mahaprabhu, he also says, Amina jani tumi janaha e mora sthiti tumi e kahile se satya ati. I don't know, you know. Whatever you say is the truth. Publicly, he disclaims that he knows any knowledge. To establish the devotee's authority on Rasa Tattva. Ramanand Rai is the authority on Rasa Tattva. So this is deliberate glorification. It is not concealment. It's not artificial. Another place, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives full credit to his devotees, was the deliverance of Jagai and Madai. Nityananda, Haridas, Dui Mora Prana, Tahara Kripaya, Paile Ei Dui Jana. Mahaprabhu has delivered Jagai Madai. He embraced them. He took the sins of Jagai Madai. What does he say? Nityananda and Haridas are my life and soul. By their mercy, these two Jagai and Madai were delivered. Mahaprabhu doesn't say, I have delivered you. He says, Nityananda and Haridas. Thus, he gives the complete credit and says, the mercy flowed through the servants. Mahaprabhu, thus, he also, even for establishing the Sampradaya, he gives that complete empowerment to Rupa and Sanatana. He tells, Rupa Sanatana dui bhagyavana jana amiye kahilu she koribe pracharana. Rupa and Sanatana are most fortunate souls. They will propagate whatever I have spoken. And you know the fact that our entire Sampradaya is Rupanuga. Because Shri Upadeshamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu are actually the law books for ISKCON. Whatever we do, our day-to-day activities, the condensed version of the Vedas is basically, in practical application, is Upadeshamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That's what it is. Our sadhana, 64 items of sadhana. Who is it who has given? That is such an important book, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. 64 items of sadhana. And you will find, if you just go through the morning program, you will find, you can put a tick mark on most of the items. So who has given all of this? Srila Rupa Goswami. Mahaprabhu, he is the one who took the incarnation to teach us how a devotee acts. Mahaprabhu came for that. That is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, you will find this is mentioned as one of the reasons for Mahaprabhu's advent. He comes, the internal reason is to relish what Radharani is feeling. But the external reason is to establish dharma, is to show everyone how to behave as a devotee. But what does he do? He empowers Rupa and Sanatan to do it. What did Mahaprabhu leave us with? Only Shikshashtaka verses. That's it. Where is Mahaprabhu's writing? Where did Mahaprabhu engage a scribe that main bol raha hu, likho? Mahaprabhu is not an author. He didn't take any credit. He gave it to Rupa and Sanatan. He says, Bhakti Rasa Siddhanta Koriba Prachara, Grantha Kori Dui Jane Koriba Vistara. They will preach the conclusions of devotional rasa and expand them through the books. So whole intellectual credit, historical credit, he gives to Rupa and Sanatan. Otherwise, we would not have been Rupanugas. We would have just been followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But he makes Rupa Goswami in this way, he gives him the credit. Likewise, we see Mahaprabhu gives the ownership of the Sankirtan movement to Shrivas Thakur. Shrivasa Pandita Pradhana Bhakta Gane Tahara Grihe Kirtana Kare Prabhu Mane. He says Shrivas Pandit is the chief among the devotees. The Lord joyfully performs kirtan in his house. So the movement, it started, we all know, it started in Srivas Angan. For 1 year, closed door kirtans happened in Srivas Angan. It was not Mahaprabhu's personal project. The credit is given to the devotee. It is at Srivas Pandit. Pradhana is the Pradhan of all the Bhakta Gana. He is the chief among all devotees. These are Mahaprabhu's associates, they are saying like this, that Mahaprabhu worked it out like this, that Srivas Pandit is glorified. Now not only Shri Krishna and Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu perform these pastimes to glorify the devotees, we find that even Srila Prabhupada in his leadership, he also functioned like this. Many times, Srila Prabhupada, he passed on the credit. When he was asked, oh Srila Prabhupada, you have achieved so much, 108 temples, 14 times you have circled the globe, 70 volumes of books, more than 5,000 disciples you have initiated. And what does Srila Prabhupada say? I did nothing, my disciples did everything. His credit, giving credit, Srila Prabhupada, he either offered it upwards, saying this is all mercy of Guru Maharaj, or he said that my disciples did everything. And he practically institutionalized this. How? By giving credit to temple presidents, GBC members. Book distributors were declared heroes. Srila Prabhupada did this. You see, if we analyze any movement, spiritual movement, it completely rests on the authority of the main personality who is there, who is ruling. You will see, till now, if you see any movement, or any major religious institution, it is the person who is leading, the leader, takes all the decisions. And they are the central and pivot for everything. But even when Srila Prabhupada was present, he gave the management to the GBC members, he gave the management to the temple presidents, and he empowered them fully. So he did not claim operational credit. Prabhupada never claimed operational credit. When book distribution expanded and it exploded, Srila Prabhupada never said, I am a great author, or I have created the movement. He said, they are selling books. My books are sold because of the enthusiasm of my devotees. They are enthusiastic, so they are selling. This is their credit. So he gave the whole credit and glory to book distributors, temple devotees, Sankirtan leaders. And of course, he accepted, yes, this is Mahaprabhu's mercy. The very fact that Srila Prabhupada did not appoint a single successor and he created a collective leadership body, personally withdrawing from management, writing that GBC is the ultimate managing authority and himself accepting what the GBC decides. This proves that he gave not only credit but even operational even the operations also Srila Prabhupada delegated. Thus we can see how Krishna does not fight and Arjuna is glorified, although he is the doer. Mahaprabhu does not claim results, associates are glorified. And in the same way, Srila Prabhupada did not claim success, but the disciples are glorified. Thus, we can see in this verse that the Supreme Lord, he steps back from credit, allows his disciples to appear as the doers, while he remains the unseen source of the potency. And this is actually the principle of leadership in action, that as the higher stages of leadership, once the team is formed strongly, the leader allows the followers or the immediate band of followers and the close associates to take the credit. That's how the bond is strengthened also. And in this same way, how in this particular verse we find Bhima, how Krishna also staged the assassination of Jarasandha, the killing of Jarasandha. The fact that 17 times he is defeating this person, and then he takes Bhima, Arjuna and himself to Jarasandha in the guise of Brahmanas. And then seeing them as Brahmanas, Jarasandha says that you are dressed as Brahmanas, but from the bow marks on your hands, I see that you are Kshatriyas. By seeing your build and size, I see that you are Kshatriyas. However, you have come in the guise maybe of Brahmanas, so then please tell me what your desire is. For it is my duty as a Kshatriya to fulfill your desires. And then they say, we want to fight with you. Krishna reveals, this personality here, this is Bhimsen. This is Arjuna and I am Krishna. And we have come here to ask for a fight. And then Jarasandha says that Arjuna is too weak for me. Krishna, he is already a coward, he ran away. So Bhima is my match, I'll fight with him. Didn't Krishna know that if he is going to run away from the battlefield, how he'll look in the eyes of Jarasandha? He knew. So he even accepted insult, so that Bhima could be glorified. Krishna knew Jarasandha will choose Bhimsen, but still he went there. So then Jarasandha and Bhimsen have a fight. And then the fight is going on. And finally it was Krishna who revealed to Bhimsen the way in which Jarasandha took birth from his mother Jara, and then how he broke the leaf, he tore the leaf into two and threw them on both the other ends. That's how he indicated to Bhima how to defeat Jarasandha, and that's how Jarasandha was killed. So who is the slayer of Jarasandha? Bhimsen. But actually the doer is Krishna. Krishna is known as Ranchod. Ranchod Rai. In Dakor there is such a beautiful temple of Ranchod Rai. There, just like we say Hare Krishna, even on the phone, anybody calls us, we say Hare Krishna. So in Gujarati they have the saying, they talk to each other like that. They say, Mandir ma kon che? The opposite person says, Mandir ma Rai Ranchod che. They say like that. They say, who is there in the temple? That's how they talk, means greeting, it's greeting. Not good morning, good evening. They say, who's there in the temple? It's Ranchod Rai, he's there in the temple. That's how they talk. And how beautiful this pastime is. Krishna, he runs away for this reason, so that later on Bhima can get the credit of killing Jarasandha. So that Muchkunda can get the credit of killing Kalyavan. Whereas Krishna was perfectly competent to do both. So this is the inner mood of the Lord. For him, external glory doesn't matter. He is already Atmaram, he is fully self-satisfied in the opulences that he has, which are full. But he wants to give them to his devotees. So he enacts these pastimes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Actually, Srila Prabhupada, he told, one time one disciple asked that our acharyas, if they are so powerful, they could make the whole world Krishna conscious, then how come they didn't do it? How come Bhaktivinoda Thakur was limited himself to only Bengal and Odisha? How come they didn't do it? So Srila Prabhupada said, you do it. They are acharya, they are all powerful. If they want, just by their desire, the whole world can become Krishna conscious. But they leave it for you. So you take the credit. So Krishna is ready and willing to give credit to his devotees. And Srila Prabhupada has reaffirmed that by engaging ourselves in this preaching movement, we are the ones who will get the credit. Preaching will happen anyways. The movement shall spread anyways. But if we engage, we get the credit. So whom does the choice belong to? The choice belongs to each one of us. Whether we surrender and agree to become Krishna's nimitta matra, bhave save sachin, whether we agree to become instruments or not. So that is this whole process of devotional life and surrender, wherein we agree to and pray to become instruments in the hands of the Lord, and thus be utilized and thus make our life successful. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you mentioned that as Lord offered the benediction to Muchkunda, that he could ask anything that he wanted, and he definitely asked for devotional service. But earlier part, when demigods offered the benediction, that the kind of benediction he asked was not, doesn't seem to be so Krishna conscious. Like if we ask for sleep, so it look like I want some sense gratification. So he could have also asked from the demigods, like even Dhruva asked to Vera that I want devotional service. So he could have asked the demigods devotional service only. So why did he ask this?
This is Krishna's unparalleled mercy. That little trace that was there within Muchkunda of doing his Kshatriya duties and then feeling exhaustion out of that and wanting some liberation. This is liberation. He doesn't want now, doesn't want to be harassed more. Pareshan mat karo mujhe, please. Jo aayega khatam. That kind of, So he had this strong desire. So to purify him of that and to give him that opportunity, which he did, then Krishna gave him darshan. And Muchkunda, Krishna mentions, there is a conversation, you will see, in that, in Bhagavatam 10th canto, when the conversation exists, Krishna reminds Muchkunda, you've been a devotee. You've been my devotee. And you wanted to have darshan of me in the past. I am fulfilling your desire. So even the devotee is momentarily, he forgot. So Krishna, he took that proprietorship and he comes there and gives darshan. And Muchkunda, he is not able to identify, who is this? He says, who are you? Krishna he says, maybe, are you one of the demigods? Or maybe your effulgence in this dark cave is so much that you must be surely the Supreme Lord. He says this way. Muchkunda, he remarks. So then when he takes darshan, and then when Krishna introduces himself, and he asks, I am very pleased with you, Muchkunda. Krishna actually gives his proper introduction. He says, I came because Brahma called me to finish off demons. He says like that. And I am born to Vasudeva, so they call me Vasudeva. And then after that, he asks, what do you want? And that's when Muchkunda, with the prayer we recited, I don't want anything. He said this. After that, he says that these 6 enemies, they have tormented me. I have no peace. Only shelter of your lotus feet. And then Krishna says, okay, you passed the test. So like that, this is the active process of devotion. Why we don't desire something at some period of time? Well, covered. What else is it? Krishna doesn't leave his devotee.
Also, Prabhuji, that here Lord offered him that he will become a very first-class Brahman in the next life. So when we went to Junagadh, we heard that Narsi Mehta was the same Brahman. Is that so? Is that like, because
Bhagavatam doesn't say so. I can't give the.
But that Pujari was saying like that. Also, one more question, Prabhuji. So here in the last verses, we saw that Uddhava has already narrated the pastimes of marrying 16,188 wives, which happened later on to this pastime. So as we see, he's going in sequence only. Like even Vrindavan Leela, he was going in sequence. So, but here we see that he jumped on the marriage 16,100 wives before, and then later on he's narrating this pastime of Krishna going to Dwarka later on. So why is it like that?
So you're saying why no chronology?
Yeah, otherwise we see everything going in chronological order only, but here.
You have to ask Uddhava that. Why he didn't use chronology? Well, Bhagavatam, you find it's not the intention. You see, it's like this. A person who is giving a narration, he always decides the mood, he always decides the flow, he decides based on his objective. If I am a historian, I'll give chronology. But if my objective is to bring out rasa, then why chronology? So the whole Bhagavatam, everything is only rasa. So that's what it is. So whatever Uddhava felt inspired, this is in deep devotional ecstasy, it's not an intellectual engagement. This deep devotional ecstasy with that Uddhava is facing. He's remembering. How he's remembering, we cannot even imagine actually. Those emotions that he is going through, we cannot even imagine. And what happens is that we may speculate why this, why that, but we just have a little bit of sight that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur will give through his commentary. Here and there, something we come to know. So all that which is revealed we can mention, nothing beyond it. You have to experience it. Okay. Okay, any other question or comment? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So here Muchkunda was doing fighting in the heavenly planets, and then he got benediction of sleeping and killing whoever come. So how Muchkunda became such a pure devotee of a Lord? Because devotee becomes devotee by association of pure devotees. In Krishna book we read sometimes he is meeting Garga Muni, but no detail is there. So if you can tell something.
Sometimes in meeting Garga Muni, who met Garga Muni?
This Muchkunda.
So that's the whole thing. You have to study the character of each personality and what experiences and association they had. When there is no information, then how is it we are going to conclude? But one thing is there clearly, which is mentioned, that he had a darshan of Krishna and he was extremely attracted by that form. So, so of course association of devotees, of course, but association of Krishna himself. He had personal association of Krishna himself. Krishna comes in front of him and that's when he offers prayers. So that is very purifying. And we can only comment to the information extent we have. What we don't have, then we have to accept. Anybody else would like to answer the question? Yes. Vaishnav Seva. Vaishnav Seva. Okay.
And one more, Roji. You mentioned about Barbaric, all Pandavas going to Barbaric and Barbaric saying Vasudev, Vasudev, Vasudev. So can you tell some more information about Barbaric, who he was? We don't know about.
Please read Mahabharata. Barbaric, son of Ghatotkacha. He was given this benediction that he will, he was very powerful. That much is there, he's very powerful, and Krishna meets him before the war and makes it arranged that he doesn't participate. But then he asks for this benediction that I should be able to view. So then he was perched upon a branch and he was able to see the entire Mahabharata happening in front of him. So that much is there. Further details you can always read Mahabharata. The whole parva you will find on Barbaric. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।